What's up guys, my name is John, I'm blind and I make videos to show you guys how I do stuff as a blind guy, and today I'm going to show you guys how I make bread at home. So first of all, I'm just going to run down what I have on the counter here for my blind viewers. I have a bread pan, I have a tub of margarine, I have a container of yeast, instant yeast, and I have some flour. Whole wheat flour. So first thing I'm going to do is wash my hands. Oh, sorry camera. Always want to wash your hands before you bake. Rule number one. So I have light perception, so aka I can see shadows. Just gonna fix my camera here because I knocked it a bit. So I would define my vision as being nothing usable. So first thing I'm gonna do is grease my bread pan. And how I do this is I take a good chunk of butter like this. I like to put things away as I'm done. It just means there's less involved in the cleanup process because I make a big mess. So I just take the margarine and I'm just going to use my fingers to rub this ball of margarine that I have over every inch of this bread pan. Because for those of you who have made the mistake of forgetting to grease your pan before baking bread, you end up losing your pan because the bread sticks to it and it is impossible to get off. I have wrecked a couple of bread pans because I've just forgotten to grease the pan. I just get sidetracked. So I'm just going to make whole wheat bread today because I don't have a lot of excess ingredients to put in it today. So I've greased the pan. There's a little bit of butter left here. I'm just going to drop it. It'll figure itself out. I'm just going to rinse my hands off. Yeah. So hopefully I'm in frame for most of this. Hopefully you can see for most of this what I'm doing. Next thing I'm going to do is get a spoon and I'm going to take a little bit of flour. A spoonful of flour, put it in the pan, in the bread pan. Put this in. And all I'm going to do, I'm going to turn the camera sideways so you guys can hopefully see a little bit. All I'm going to do is, again, make sure that every surface of the pan has some flour. So I'm just going to tip it on its side, on its end. Now as you guys can see, and for those of you who can't, I'm doing this over the sink to make sure that all the excess flour that falls does go in the sink. I do as much of this in the sink as I can. It just minimizes the whole mess process. So this is my bread pan, it's done. I'm just going to set it to the side right here. Now, as I stated, so this is my mixing bowl. Okay, I mix in the sink. It just minimizes the mess that I need to clean up after. Got my yeast. So here's where I start adding the dry ingredients. So I'm gonna add. So the spoon I'm using is too big. All right, I'm just going to get another spoon. And we'll try this again. So yeast, I usually add yeast first, and I'll do just a tablespoon of yeast. enough. And I'm going to put this away because, as I said, I like to put things away. Oh, I do have an extra ingredient that I can add, though. I'll show you guys that after. A little surprise ingredient. Next step. Water. Now, I don't measure this anymore. I've done this so often, I just eyeball it. Pun intended. So you want to make sure you use lukewarm water, not too hot. If it's too hot, the yeast won't react. So you want a lukewarm water, and I generally put in yeah, so 1 1/3 of this. This is obviously much bigger than a measuring cup. I don't know, you just eyeball it. I've done this more plenty of times. So there's yeast in there, there's water in there. I'm wasting all my clean spoons, but that's okay. Secret ingredient for today, brown sugar. So sugar just helps the yeast react, and I have a sweet tooth, so we're gonna put in some brown sugar. We'll put in a little more. I didn't say this was going to be nutritious bread. Put that away. I want to wash my hands now, but if I don't want to turn the tap on. Okay. Put that away. Okay, let me just make sure the camera is where I want it, because this is the part that I want to really focus on. I'm just going to move this out of the way. Hello, camera. Okay, you're pretty good. Okay, so there's water in here, there's yeast, there's brown sugar. Hopefully you guys can see this. If not, I'm sorry. I want to mix that up. Now, if I had nuts or raisins or dried fruit, I'd add that, but I don't. I was ill prepared for this. So, here comes the fun part, flour. So basically, again, I've done this as long as I can remember now. So I eyeball it. So I basically start with 3 cups. As my baseline. And I can already tell this is going to need more. So there's 3 cups. I'm going to take my fork, put it in here, and I'm going to stir it, mix this in. Now you want to stir this until you have trouble stirring. That's when you know you're kind of getting close to the type of consistency you want. Actually, I might not need much more. So as you can see, I'm having difficulty stirring this. So when I get to this point, I like to do something that just makes it easier for me to work with the dough. Yeah, we're definitely there already. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put in a little bit more. So I do end up actually wasting some flour, but that's okay. Put that out of the way. Now it's just a case of kneading the dough. So here's what I have right now. Hope you guys can see this. It's nice and warm. So you want to flatten and flip it. Flatten, flip it. Get all the moisture out of there. Pick up as much residual dough as you can. So I like to add some sugar because it just gives it that little sweet taste to it that I love. Whenever I make bread and bring it places for dinner or whatever, people are always like, "Oh, I love your bread." I'm like, "Thank you. I love it too." So, again, I hope you guys can see what I'm doing. If not, you can see with your ears. That's how I go through life. So it'll be good practice for you guys for when you're old and go blind. Okay, so this is what I have to work with right now. As you can see, it's kind of like a big ball of dough. Now, I'm not going to leave the video on and show you this rising. So what I'll do is I'll put it in the bread pan, and then I'll come back and get this video going again when it is risen. When Jesus rises, I will be back. So put it in the pot pan like this. So this is what it looks like right now. Hopefully you guys can see this. I'll tip it sideways. Like this. That's what it looks like. So when you guys see this again, it'll be very different. I'm just going to wash my hands. And then I'm going to turn the camera off. I'm actually getting a new GoPro pretty soon. Cannot wait for that. Okay. Alright guys, I'll be back. Okay, we're back, and as you can see, the ball of dough has turned into this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring it over here. I'm going to turn and start to preheat my oven to, I have this marked so I know what's what here, 370. Gonna let that warm up, and then we'll slam this bad boy. Our timer set for 40 minutes, give or take. This bad boy in. See you in 40. Pretty much good to go here, guys. 40 minutes, just short of 40 minutes. There's the alarm. So I've got my GoPro around my neck on a strap to show you guys, so I can actually use my hands to show you guys how I do this. So the audio might not be as good, but it's all about the visual. Turn that baby off. Man, it smells good in here. So pick up this towel that's on. Well, that is my roommate's dog being a silly goose. Get that out of the way there. I'll have to wash that bad boy. Okay. So here we are, right here. Now I'm going to bring it over into the baking tray. I'm going to flip it. And that's my roommate's dog being silly. And put these here and flip this over, and bingo. Here's a nice loaf of homemade bread right there. And trust me, it tastes as good as it looks.